The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of Green Acres and our guests. These general gardening tips and suggestions may work for you, as well as those from alternative sources. When using any garden products or tools, read and follow all label directions. And learn how to make your yard summer strong at bewatersmart.info.
The Green Acres Garden Podcast is the podcast dedicated to helping gardeners hone their growing skills while we celebrate our love of plants. So whether you're new to growing or a seasoned gardener, you're sure to learn something new. Join the fun as we have conversations with world-class growers, passionate green thumbs, and professional garden experts from Green Acres Nursery and Supply. Listen every week. We'll answer questions you didn't know you had. Hey there, garden friends, and welcome one and all to the show. This is the Green Acres Garden Podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Jordan, plant lover extraordinaire, back in studio for another great episode to share with you. Actually, this is going to be an amazing episode.
Why is that, sir?
A special guest this week. We have a landscape designer on, Austin.
Yes, I love landscape designers.
Dude, same. The landscape designers, they have the experience, they've got the knowledge and the training and all that, and it's so great to learn from them, to kind of see how they see the world, what their perspective is on from starting a landscape or updating and renovating one. And this is what top tier, Austin. We've got Michael Glassman on. He has written more books than I've probably read, and I'm not even lying, or pretty close.
And he's been on TV.
He's a TV personality. He's an author and just a landscape designer to the with an A+ quality rating. I'm telling you. So 40 plus years experience. I loved it, so we got to sit with him and learn all about his approach. We actually got to sit in his garden and see it actually for ourselves, his design eye and what it has created. I love this. For me, gardening and growing, you're always trying to learn something new. And so to learn from somebody with so much experience, with this great artistic eye, it's fascinating. Yeah. I loved it. He was such a character.
I knew we were in good hands because there was dragonflies everywhere. It's not common. I don't feel like I see that very much. But in his backyard, there was hummingbirds and dragonflies everywhere. I was like, oh, what is this? This is so cool.
Nonstop. As we're talking, you could hear the birds and the insects in the back. You probably picked it up on audio. You hear everything.
I actually try to remove some of that from the interview for our ears. But there's some like cicadas I think I was hearing. Yeah. But the garden was alive. So you were in good hands. And Michael Glassman is just such a successful designer. So it's such an honor to get to visit his home and pick his brain and learn all there is to learn. So let's jump into it. We sat down with Michael Glassman at his home in Davis, California. Here we go.
So I'm here on a beautiful summer day in Davis, California, sitting down with Michael Glassman. Michael, please tell us who you are and what we're going to talk about today.
My name is Michael Glassman. I own a landscape design company called Michael Glassman and Associates. I'm a dinosaur. I've been doing this a long time. Over 40 years. In fact, when I started, I was the youngest designer to come out of, I got my degree in landscape architecture from UC Davis, and then I got a secondary kind of a certificate from design school in Europe. And when I started my business, I was the youngest, and I had a lot of hard times getting people to hire me because I was so young. And now, I'm probably the oldest.
Well, I can tell by your home, which is gorgeous, and your landscape you've created here, that you're a bit of an artist.
Thank you.
And so you've already mentioned 40 plus years in the industry. I mean, you came out of education. I mean, you've been trained for this. I kind of want to pick your brain a little bit and see if we can kind of see the world the way that you see it as far as plants and things. I'm so curious. When you take on, let's say a new space, completely blank slate garden, typical back, what are your considerations? What are your go-tos?
So I do consultations. I'll come to a home, and the first thing I do, and it's funny, is even though I do have to use the bathroom, a lot of times I'll say to the people, can I use your bathroom before we start? This gives me a chance to relieve myself, but it also gives me a chance to kind of look around. Because to me, the yard is an extension of the house. People's taste is reflected most of the time in what they do in the interior. And to me, if you're trying to plan this indoor-outdoor feel, you need to have this all an extension of what you do and the style or the taste or anything. So that's the first thing I look at. The next thing, and I always ask the people, but I also look, problem solving. Is there a two-story house behind that is looking in on you so you feel like you're in a fishbowl? Or do you have a hill coming down where you're going to have erosion? Do you have winds coming through? And I'll give you a perfect example. I was asked, this was years ago, to do a consultation in Benicia. And I went up there, and it was a house that was literally overlooking the ocean. It was the most magnificent view I've ever seen. And I'm looking out the windows, and I'm thinking, I have no idea why I'm there, because it's beautiful. What do you need me for? And I was about ready to say, I don't understand. What do you want from me? And they said, come on out. And I walked outside, and we almost got blown. And they go, there's our problem. Yes, we have this gorgeous view. We can't sit out here. We can't eat out here. The winds are, it's always like that.
Constant.
And they said, so we've got this beautiful view that we can look at, but we can't use our outdoor space. So the solution was we did a series of glass baffles. And it was, we did glass railing, glass, a baffle would be like a wall of glass. And then we staggered them so that they wouldn't be pushed in, the wind would go through, but you could sit out there and be able to enjoy your view without being blown to death, and problem solving. So that's the very first thing I look at. Do you have, is there a water problem? Do you have a privacy problem? Do you have a sun problem? Is there an erosion problem? Do you have, and this is something I really do a lot of, is your house on a raised foundation, and are you getting older? I mean, as I say in our book, stairs are not our friend. And every time you open a door and you have to walk down a flight of steps, or even 2 or 3 steps, you can break a hip, you can break your neck. So the idea is, what are the elevation changes? And then how do you want to use the yard? Do you want to entertain? Do you want a vegetable garden? Do you want a swimming pool? Do you want a hot tub? I ask my clients that before we ever get started. And then it's kind of weird what happens with me, but what happens to me, and people say, well, how do you come up with that? A lot of it is because I've been doing this for a long time, but a lot of times, if it's something unusual, it's like I get a photograph drops in front of my eyes, and it's like, I see it done. I see it designed. I see it done, and I describe it. And if the people say, no, we don't like that, it's like instantaneously a new one can drop. I'll be talking to a client, and I'll hit on something, and they'll go, that's exactly what I was going to ask you, or that's what I was thinking. How did you guess that? And a lot of it is, I know your style. I see what you like. Those kind of
in your experience, you're able to put that into words.
Exactly.
And it's always difficult too. And or do you find it challenging where you can imagine the yard when the plants are mature and everything is thriving and it's at its peak, and it's kind of hard to get there if somebody they can't see that vision with you. How do you translate that?
Well, when we do drawings now, a lot of things, what I do is, which is really nice, Jody's put this together. I've got a design book that I bring along that I show people. It's all my work, but it's different overheads. If I say a seat wall, I show them a picture. This is what I'm talking about. When I mention plants, if I say, oh, you know what, for privacy, a Podocarpus gracilior would be great. Well, they look at you like you're talking Mars. So I show them a picture of a Podocarpus, and I tell them a little about it. So pictures work wonderfully.
In your book with Janie Santos,
Yes.
you brought up how you guys are all about problem solving, and you're trying to help people solve these common garden problems that keep reoccurring and finding solutions to those. Are there a couple, what are some of the most basic problems that you believe that people and their own home gardens are encountering?
Privacy. Number
yeah?
one, privacy. I'm in a suburban area. I told you I don't have any homes in the back, but I have homes on either side of me. 2-story Whomper big homes with balconies that look in. So if you look that way, behind my fireplace, there is a 2-story house with a balcony. You don't even see the house. I planted trees, evergreen trees that block out the view so that when we sit here, there's total privacy. On the other side, you'll notice a Podocarpus. There's a house that's being blocked. Privacy is a really important thing, and the reason I say that is because lot sizes are getting smaller. Density is getting very close in. What they're doing is they're taking big lots, tearing down the original house, and building 2 and 3 units, 2-story homes, balcony homes, condominiums. And so what happens is people still want outdoor spaces, but when they come out, they feel like everyone's staring at them.
They're on display.
Yeah, and as I said, we feel like we're in a fishbowl. So that's the number one thing, whether you use the decorative screens with a vine on it, and that happens to be jasmine, whether you use an
So that way you can kind of have like a fence behind your fence a little bit to kind of elevate.
Exactly. Whether you do that, I had taken you to see there's a little guest room in the downstairs, and that used to look out to the neighbors' windows. I put a laser cut screen around it with I have a strawberry tree, and then I have a big tree fern in a pot.
That Australian tree fern is
gorgeous. Yeah. Now when you look out the window, you don't see into the neighbors, you see into a private garden. And so I think privacy is going to be a very important element as lot sizes get smaller and the density gets heavier, and we feel like people are on top of us, because it doesn't feed your soul. It doesn't feed you to feel like everyone's looking at you and you're just sitting in a crowd.
Absolutely. Can't agree more. Now, when it comes to like plants and their survival and the health of our gardens and landscapes, what are you noticing people encountering?
Here's the one big thing, and that's one of the things that I love about also the book, and we talk about it. I'm going to be real blunt. There's no such thing as no maintenance. It doesn't exist. Yeah, green concrete and plastic plants, that's no maintenance. But the reality is that no matter what you do, you're going to have to fertilize it. You're going to have to water it. You're going to have to prune it. That is general maintenance. You have to do that. And the big thing that people don't understand is that they have to want to be able to do it. And a lot of things that, sometimes I work with very well-off clients, and they have the money to create these places, but they don't have the time to maintain it. And so they're always asking me, who can I get to take care of it? And to be honest with you, right at this moment, you get mow, blow, and go people, but you don't have someone that's going to come in there and really expertly prune your things, expertly fertilize, take care of their yards. So you spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on this gorgeous yard, and you watch it just kind of implode and fall apart because no one's maintaining it. So I think that's one of the things that I try to tell people. One of the things that I will say that is amazing is Janie came up with a proven winners, it's who she works with a lot, a group of the best of the West. Plants that she put in her own yard. And I got to tell you, what a great concept. She took plants that she tried and they thrived. The ones that didn't thrive, she didn't use, but the ones that did, to tell people, if you plant this, it's drought tolerant, it survives, it takes the sun, it takes this, it takes that. And she made a list of the best of the West so that people, they don't have to buy something, try it, and then find it dying. The biggest misconception when people say I've got a black thumb. No one has a black thumb. It's just, you have to do research. You have to know your due diligence. You can't put a shade plant in the sun. You can't put a sun plant in the shade. There are places where things go. You can't give a drought-tolerant plant. It takes 2 years for it to establish roots, but if you overwater it, it's going to die. If you put a plant like the adiantum, which is a maidenhair fern, loves a lot of water. It can almost sit in a bowl of water. You put it in a dry environment, it's going to shrivel up. So it's not that you have a black thumb, it's that you haven't read or you haven't done your due diligence to find out what that plant needs. And again, you need to fertilize. I'll come to some of my clients, they'll have me come out there to give them some ideas for a refresh, and some of their plants look sad, really sad. And I'll say to them, when's the last time you fertilized? Oh, 5 years ago. And what I tell people is, it's like eating. You eat every day. You don't just say,
and that food is gone.
And gone.
Yeah.
You don't just say, oh, well, I ate last week, so I don't have to eat again. I take vitamins, I eat. It's the same thing with plants. You've got to feed your plants.
It's like intermittent fasting for your plants.
Exactly.
You're like, whoa, the fast is long enough. Let's break it.
Exactly. And Janie's taught me a lot about that is she fertilizes her perennials and they keep blooming. I told her the other day, we were doing a video and I said, I'm so jealous. The amount of color and the things keep blooming, blooming, blooming. I try to do it. I don't have the time that she does. But I said, my things are blooming better since I've been fertilizing them on a regular basis. Trees need to be fertilized. Trees need to be pruned. if you don't prune your trees, you always have the problem of crotch angles are too tight, they break.
Competing leads.
Right. The tree falls
branches.
over. You know, I was telling you the fig tree last year I had that's on the side of my house. I had it pruned by Capital Arborists. They did a great job, but it needs to be pruned again. It's taking all the light from the side yard. It's just growing profusely. It's healthy, it's fertilized, and it's wonderful, but it's too wonderful.
Yeah. Limits. I love it.
Exactly.
Yeah, too wonderful if there's such a thing. That's awesome. So what does a Michael Glassman landscape look like? Or does it depend upon the needs of your customer, your client? Is there a through line with your design principles? I know you brought up symmetry, but what are some of the other kind of concepts that you like to play with when it comes to kind of designing and creating a landscape?
For me, the thrill.
What's your fingerprint, as it were?
I don't have, I have certain plants that I like to use, but I don't have a style. One of the things that I love the most is to be given an architectural element, a Tudor house, a mid-century modern, a contemporary. My biggest thrill is because I never repeat a design and I always try to think out of the box and do something different. I love getting a challenge of being able to do a different design. So one of the videos we just did was a Victorian. Before then I did a French garden. I had spent some time in the south of France for my birthday and I came back and that's where I had gone to design school. So these people said to me, the first thing they said to me is, we want a French garden. Oh my God, that was thrilling. And not every yard. I love Asian inspired yards. So there isn't one style that to me I like. I love so many different styles. I can't say there's the Michael Glassman. There are Michael Glassman plants that I like using. And a lot of them is not because it's the only thing I know. It's that I use them because they're successful and they grow. And there's nothing more depressing than putting plants in and watching them go down the hill and die. So I use the ones that I know that are almost surefire. It's like Janie's Best of the West. They're surefire. You're guaranteed they're going to grow.
What's Michael's surefire?
Surefire.
I know we've seen some already today. Yeah.
I love the podocarpus. And for a different look, I like the Glacier Bay, or it used to be the Icy Blue, the Silver Gray. I love those. Grow slower than anything, but I love those. That's a surefire. Any redbud. The flamethrower just drives me. I mean, I salivate when I see them. I love the flamethrower redbud. It's the most gorgeous thing. I love the weeping redbuds. I like the Oklahoma, any kind of redbud, even the Western redbud. That to me is absolutely great. If you're talking about a surefire, gorgeous colored tree, I'm sorry, you can't beat a crepe myrtle. I mean, I tend to like, you can see the multi-stem ones.
Yeah,
to me, they are so magnificent. And the red ones, oh my God, the color.
And that peeling bark, and yeah.
I mean, I love all of those.
What is some of the best advice that you could give to someone who's listening, who's maybe trying to create a space that's going to bring them the kind of peace and joy that yours does for you? What are your bits of advice for them? How can they can get to where they want to be?
Okay, here's my biggest piece of advice for people. If you can develop a plan, it's like a roadmap. So you're not driving down the road, not knowing where you're going. Do a plan of some sort. You can hire someone or just do it yourself. Take one place at a time. Finish it. Do it, finish it. I don't care if it's a little courtyard, a side yard, a back area. Get it done and then move on to the next space. The biggest mistake people make is they try to do too much at once. They get discouraged. They get so depressed and they want to throw up their hands and do nothing. Even if the simple thing is, one of the tenets that Janie and I talk about is staining your fence. I did that myself. I got a bid of $4,000 from the contractor to stain the fence. I did it myself for $300. I went out there with a roller and a brush. The dogs kept me company.
Yours is dark. What is that?
That is cordovan brown with a little bit of black in it. I did that because I wanted, with a dark fence, first of all, you don't see all the different fence styles. The dark fence makes all the plants pop.
It truly does.
And it unifies everything. Even if you have an old rickety fence, you repair the fence, and if it doesn't match the other one, if you stain it, everything blends together. So that's one of the
new boards versus the old board.
Exactly.
I see what you're doing here, Michael.
New boards, right, and people go, oh my God, that doesn't match, and then the old ones. But if you stain the whole thing the same color, it all blends.
It is a really nice backdrop. It's like a black canvas for your plants.
Exactly.
You just see little pockets of it kind of show through. I love it.
Exactly.
It's
so that's
striking.
Anything that you can do yourself. So I stain my own fence. If you can take one area and do it so that when you come out, you smile, it gives you, oh my God, look what I did. Anytime you can do work on your own, even if you don't have time, but if you can make time, the satisfaction that you get when people come over and go, oh, I love that. And you go, yeah, I did that. I did that.
That was my idea.
I stained that. Yeah, that was my idea. You get so much ownership and satisfaction. Whereas if you just have everyone do it for you, you're more of a viewer. You view it, but you can't take.
You're not really a participant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's my advice to people. Don't get overblown with too much stuff at once. You can design the whole thing and then take piece by piece and get it done, but finish an area and then move on so you don't get depressed and you don't feel like, oh my God, I'll never finish it.
Yeah, I love that. Have some goals and then just take it off. Well, Michael, before I let you go, I got to ask, and this is something I love to ask people, and this will be a joy to ask you. What do you love most about plants, working with plants, and being out in the garden?
The diversity, the change, the learning new things. Anyone that says, oh, I know it all, go back to school. I've learned so much from Janie, vice versa. There's so much left to learn. Soil types and different plants. I mean, that's one of the things that's so wonderful about the nurseries. They're hybridizing plants. Some do great, some don't do great. They're changing things that are 35 feet tall. They hybridize them so they're only going to be 6 feet tall, but they're hardy and everything. To me, I think the exciting thing about my field is the things to learn, the changes, everything that the new products, the new tiles, the new natural stones, all the things, the art that you can experience. You would notice as you were walking around the laser cut. I got into laser cutting, speccing that out because it was something totally different. It doesn't break the bank, but it is so different. There's over 1,000 different designs you can do. You can light them, you can stain them.
And that's sheet metal that's been cut out.
Cut out in a different design with lights on it. The silhouette, the shadow pattern that it does, that's something completely different. I mean, you turn over there behind my outdoor kitchen, you can see I have that's something we were playing with. We have the hummingbird, and then we also have the sun. That was laser cut.
Beautiful.
So, I mean, that's it. It's the ability to be able to learn, try new things, grow and stretch, and do something different. That's what life's all about.
Michael, I got to say, it has been an awesome time talking with you. Your home landscape and your home. I mean, it's just beautiful. And I can tell you are spunky and full of so much energy. I love it. I'm absorbing it. And I always tell my students, it's like horticulture is kind of described as like it's the art and science of cultivating plants. And I think today you showed that perfectly.
Thank you.
There's a true science to the beautiful art out here and an art to the science. Michael, I got to say thank you so much for having me, and hopefully we can come back in the future and talk some more.
Absolutely. This has been absolutely a joy. Thank you. It was so much fun.
All right, we are back from our interview with Michael. Thank you so much, Michael. It was an honor getting to be in your yard and hear all of the stuff that's going through your brain when you were talking about landscape design. I was so fascinated by the way that he visualizes stuff. He goes into that space and he has like a picture dropped in front of his eyes. And then if it doesn't work, he could just drop in another one. I love that. Though his brain works really, really fast. Kevin, I'm curious, what did you think?
He is awesome. I love this guy. Michael is a hoot to talk to. To hear him in person, it's a shame this interview, we didn't get to go long for him because we were there for a while and we got to talk about so much and I loved every moment of it. And to see his work as we're talking, we're interviewing surrounded by his landscape. And it's like, okay, this person not only loves plants, he's really has the eye and the experience for it. Like you talked about, he's able to drop things down, just visualize a landscape, that's experience. And that's experience that I want to absorb and learn from. And I think people listening at home, hopefully they can take some of the lessons that he kind of shared with us today. Because if you're designing your own paradise in your own little oasis, you don't have to have a super famous landscape designer necessarily. You might be able to do some of this on your own. And him talking about starting small, getting a game plan, focusing on a smaller area of your landscape and complete that, and then move on to another one. That's great, because you don't want to start a project or several and then get overwhelmed and get bewildered and then just give up.
Sure. And using the plants that are going to be successful.
That's what he brought up. He's like, no one has, a black thumb. We all could potentially be green thumbs. It's really about putting plants that are going to be successful and where you're growing them for whatever purpose that you need. And so finding the right plant, right place, a lot of the same things that we've talked about, he was bringing up as well. So I loved it. It was so much fun talking with him. Actually, the plant of the week is because of him, and I'll go straight into it.
Okay, what's that?
So he brought it up, the podocarpus, the fern pine or the yew pine. Sometimes different varieties are called.
Did he have 2 of them?
He had several varieties.
He had more than 2. Okay.
So some were silvery blue, some of that traditional green. But so a podocarpus, it's an evergreen. It has a somewhat of a lacier leaf, kind of a thinner leaf, kind of longer, but evergreen, really easy to maintain. You can prune it. You can keep it as shrubs. You can get larger varieties that grow as like a mid-sized tree. And he, like he said, privacy, privacy, privacy. If you want to create a space that feels kind of protected and kind of separate from your neighbors, you can do that with plants. And the podocarpus for him, he has them kind of flanking his the sides of his backyard. So when we were back there, it felt like we were in our own little paradise.
It
did. His neighbors have pretty large homes. Couldn't see them.
Yeah.
And so we were tucked in there. It felt really cozy. And so that's a great plant. And especially once they're established, they're pretty bulletproof, I've noticed. You see them around town a lot, but they are just one of those bulletproof
you see them around town.
Trees. Oh, yeah. You'll see them around businesses, different homes as well. But yeah, they're just a nice evergreen, just hardy plant. It kind of fulfills some of the role that you might use a large shrub for a screen. But to me, they're just a little bit more attractive. And then you can prune them up if you want to have the trunk to be a little more bare and you want to put in plants underneath their canopy. You can do that. So pretty cool plant, among many others. He had those Kufia, come on. The hummingbirds.
Yeah.
Dude, he was bringing them up and it's like, yeah, there's hummingbirds right behind you, Michael.
There's the hummingbird.
So it's pretty cool. So please check him out. He's got a new book where he teamed up with a good friend of our podcast, Janie Santos. And they have a book together. It's called Solving Problems in the Landscape, which if you learn visually, there's so many beautiful pictures, before and afters, that show how they transform landscapes and solve all the different problems that come up in our gardens, from maintenance to privacy and beyond. So if you're into that, it's a great, great read.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much to Michael Glassman. It was a blast. I hope our listeners are inspired. If you want to learn more about him, if you want to check out his book, go ahead and look in the episode description. I'll drop some links there. But that is all for this week. Kevin, go ahead and take us out.
Man, this is one of the best jobs in the world, Austin.
Oh, yeah.
One week we're out in the farm eating fresh fruit. Another week we're talking with happy folks growing plants. And now this week we're talking with just a top-tier landscape designer, picking his brain. Woo. I loved it, man. It doesn't get much better than this. So I wish you all happy gardening. Please get out in that garden, grow, grow, grow. Right now is just the best time to have some fun out there as things cool down a little bit. But, the summer's stretching on. So, don't be afraid to plant a little bit and start planning for that fall garden. I've already talked with some gardeners, Austin. They're already planting some of their seeds for their fall garden. Oh, yeah, their broccoli, cabbage, kale, things like that.
That's exciting.
So as one season turns, another burns, baby.
Yeah.
So please get out in that garden, grow a little bit. Please come back for next week because we'd love to have you back here for more. We love our listeners, don't we, Austin?
Oh, of course. We love our listeners.
Dude, they're the best. Until next week, garden friends, happy gardening to you all. And please, never stop growing.